This is my camera. Let me know when you're ready.
This is mine.
2,
Call me.
1.
Good evening, it's Dr. Triggs. Welcome to Triggs Table Talk. I just want to say that, hey, things have been taking off and I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like, click, subscribe, share these episodes. And today I have no other but quadruple board certified, my brother in arms, Dr. Bernard Ashby, cardiologist, also my personal cardiologist extraordinaire. So Bernard, Dr. Ashby, what's poppin', brother? Thank you for being here to Triggs Table Talks.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be here, bro.
I'm
happy to be here, man.
I appreciate
listen, you went from coming into Miami,
Yup.
a little pipsqueak.
Right, man. Gringo, green, wet behind the ears.
Now my boy's a big dog. I love to see it.
I ain't making no noise out here, brother.
I love to see it.
So, man, like, tell the audience, man, like, who you are, like, you know what I'm saying, where you come from, like, you know, your credentials, because they want to know. Like, you quadruple board certified. I don't even know that. I think the most I've ever heard is triple. So, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, drop some knowledge on us.
Well, I'm a proud Florida boy, born and raised.
Yep.
You know, my like street cred is that I was born at Jackson Memorial Hospital.
Okay.
So I'm about that life. I'm just kidding. But my mom is from St. Kitts. My dad is from Aruba. And I was born and raised in Florida. And I went to medical school in New York.
Mm-hmm. What medical school?
I went to Cornell for medical school.
Okay.
Did my
Ivy
residency
League?
at Columbia.
Ivy League, okay.
Yes. But with that said, don't get it twisted.
All right. Don't try
Let the white coat fool you.
Yeah, okay.
Same old B.
Okay.
Same old B.
All right.
But to answer your question, I'm board certified in internal medicine.
Yep.
And then I did a fellowship in cardiology, so I'm board certified in cardiology. I did a fellowship also in vascular medicine.
Okay.
So I'm board certified in vascular medicine. Then I also got trained in nuclear medicine, so I'm board certified in nuclear cardiology.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. What made you, like, continue to do that? Like, what was the driving force between the just be like, oh, well, shoot, I like this. Let me jump into that.
Well, I'm crazy just like you, man. I always tell people, if you look at physicians,
Yeah.
they're not necessarily the most smartest people in the room.
Right.
They just have the most will, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be a little bit crazy to go through the decade plus of training that it requires to become a physician.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm a little bit crazy.
Yeah. You just the pursuit of knowledge, basically.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm an OD nerd, so I ain't gonna lie. Like, I love information.
No,
as you know.
trust me, I know. I'm in multiple group chats with you. I know how it goes down. So, you know, we both on the Urban Golf Weekend, you know, shameless plug, you know, Labor Day weekend. Check that out, Urban Golf Weekend. Shout out to Cliff.
Brat.
So, you talked about like how you have the first technology-based cardiology practice. Tell me about that. What's popping with that?
So,
I happen to be a part of this practice, by the way,
yes.
as a patient.
Yes. So for Urban Golf Weekend promo,
Yeah.
Cliff Brat, we did a little piece, and basically, like, I kind of gloated a little bit that I have the first technology-based cardiology practice in the nation.
Right.
And what that means is just that. So everything is on the cloud.
Yeah.
Paper, never heard of it.
Yeah. For sure.
Phone calls, heard of it. If they're older, we'll talk to you.
Right.
But everything is text-based, message-based, and essentially you could do everything from the comfort of your home and using your phone.
Right.
So communication is streamlined. You could text us through our app or through text messaging. And we do telemedicine, and we do remote patient monitoring. So actually about half of our patients are all around the country and all around the world.
Right.
And essentially that offers us the ability to see any and everybody no matter where they're at.
Right.
And unlike most practices, the cardiology practices, you actually see me.
Right.
And actually guide your care. Mm-hmm. And yes, we have a very robust staff that handles a lot of the day-to-day activities, but when it comes to the decision-making, you're dealing with the cardiologist and other specialists on the staff.
So basically, you're an international-based cardiologist. So
Yes,
you'll take
sir.
anybody from anywhere.
Anywhere. If you're in Canada, holla at me.
I love it. I love it. So with that, switching gears from like practice, I know you're highly involved in the community. I think like some of the like first conversations we had were like during the pandemic, and you were like really adamant about the Black community, your own community down here in South Florida. So tell me some of the things that you've done and like are currently doing like down here in South Florida, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like community. And that doesn't necessarily have to be dealing with like health or medicine, but just in general.
So I appreciate the alley-oop.
Yeah.
CP3 over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't advertise what I do. It's just a part of who I am.
I know. It's not on your profile or nothing.
Nothing, but it's the reason why I'm here, meaning that my community is the reason why I'm here. My village raised me. And so from the neighbor to my aunts, cousins, and obviously my mom and dad, the village raised me, and I kind of have that mentality. And essentially what I do is I provide resources and support for any and everybody.
Right.
So if you don't have insurance, you can't pay, I'm still going to see you. That's just how I roll.
Right.
That's how my mom raised me.
Right.
So everybody called my mom Auntie Vern.
Yeah.
Why? Because she's everybody's auntie. She takes care of the whole community. And as a result, based on the way I was raised, I kind of have the same mentality. And I do a couple different things. So I work at the homeless shelter, not really work, but I volunteer there, teaching University of Miami students on cardiology once a month, see patients there. Also have a clinic in Zambia where we handle all the cardiovascular services at a remote location in Zambia. And honestly speaking, they very much so needed it. And how it came about, long story, but it was meant to be, basically.
Right.
And I also have an internship program. So we have about 5 to 10 interns per semester. So we have 3 blocks a year. And essentially, we prepare them for a healthcare career.
Because you've had a few of them go into med school, right?
Yes. Yo, thank you for that.
Yeah,
because I'm very proud of our interns. And what we do that's different is that we empower interns. So there's no excuses. It's all about excellence. And in addition to that, I actually spend some time telling them about healthcare, history, policy, and not just the nuts and bolts of cardiology or medicine.
Right.
Yes, I expect them to be master clinicians, but beyond that, I expect them to be someone that's going to be in the community, that's engaging and actually making a difference. Because all too often, we leave our training and then just focus on bread.
So they know a lot more of the social determinants of medicine and look at the whole patient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, make your bread.
Right.
But I expect you, if you rock with me,
you're
going to give back.
Right.
You have to.
For sure. So all that, you know what I'm saying, the practice, super busy, internationally based. Your community service, super busy. So what do you do like in the free time? You live in Miami, you from Miami, you know what I'm saying? I know you got a little one, you know what I'm saying? Little Nico, little nephew, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what do you do to like de-stress, like keep yourself like well balanced out here in Miami?
Well, first of all, it's home.
Yeah.
And I have a big family.
Yeah.
So my dad had 10 kids.
Sheesh.
And so I have a lot of siblings. My grandfather had about 10 kids, so I have a lot of aunts and uncles. That's on my mom's side.
Right.
And his dad had 25 kids.
Sheesh,
And then my dad's father had 8 kids. So long story short, I have a big family and I have a big base. So I could go out and run into one of my cousins.
Right.
So what I love about being down here is just rocking with my family. Like, I'm always with my family, 100%. My brother, shout out to you, Devin. And beyond that, I just let it do what it do, meaning that I just go out. As you know, living in Miami, anytime somebody's down here, they think that you on vacation too.
Exactly.
I would say I pop out every once in a while.
Yeah.
And, I love the Miami Heat, so I go to a lot of the games.
Right.
So that's kind of like my little getaway, like default. And a lot of people don't know this, but the Heat got a ratchet-ass club inside of the arena.
Oh, yeah.
So I could go watch the game, get a little ratchet, go home, go to work the next day. So I do that. But beyond that, I love politics, geopolitics in particular. And I'm engaged in just a lot of different things. But I love learning, and I love being, out there with the community, like my family, friends, every day, all day.
I heard you like to like intellectually spar as well too. A couple of our friends would attest to that. Other very well-known physicians in the just well-known physicians. But anyway, switching gears,
Hey, Rob, you don't want a big stepper.
Hey, Rob,
You don't
Rob
want
on
this.
deck in May. He coming.
Hey, Rob, when you come to Miami, you gonna see me, man. You ain't check in, bro.
So Dr. Robert Drummond is a I forgot what his board certification is, but he has an MD, PhD from Johns Hopkins, and he's going to be on Triggs Table Talk soon. So, yeah, the beef has started. Started. So switching gears, you do a lot of pre-oping for medical clearances for patients to see if they're cleared and ready for surgery. What are some of the things that you look for to be able to tell if a patient is ready for general anesthesia or even just some type of light sedation? What are those things that you're looking for to make sure that they're good to go? So something that they can start working on now in the future.
So it's not complicated. It's always the basics, meaning that the more active, the more healthy you are, the better you are going to do post-op.
Right.
So if you eat well, you exercise, you don't smoke, you don't do any drugs, you're going to heal faster, you're going to recover faster, and you're going to have a better result. And so I basically, when I'm evaluating patients, I'm looking for any red flags, so to speak. But if you're sedentary, meaning that you don't exercise, you don't move at all, and you can't go up one flight of steps without getting short of breath, that's a red flag to me.
Right.
And so essentially, it's just a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a quick plug to our pre-op program that we run through CVC.
Okay.
That's part of our digital network, and we just offer a way for patients to be seen by a cardiologist or any other specialist with a turnaround time in less than a day if necessary. But essentially, we make it as convenient as possible, and we don't compromise on quality. We just leverage technology to streamline things and make it much quicker.
Right. Perfect. So there's a couple of things that I see in my practice that are prevalent that I'd say are not necessarily red flags, but things that my sellers don't really necessarily understand, or the coordinators are well, this lab value is off or something like that. One of them is hypertension or high blood pressure, diabetes, and anemia. In terms of blood pressure, can you kind of talk about why it's important to have your blood pressure under control prior to surgery? I mean, I can give my surgical opinion, but from a vascular cardiologist, if you could.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. And it goes back to what I said about the basics, meaning that essentially the healthier you are, the better off you'll be. And so if you have uncontrolled blood pressure, uncontrolled sugar, you're more likely to have complications. And so with blood pressure, anything above 130 is considered high. That's a top number, your systolic blood pressure. And anything above 85, your bottom number, diastolic, is considered high. And so the higher it is, the more acute it is. So there's a difference between a blood pressure of 140 and 180. And if your blood pressure is that high going into surgery, you're more likely to have complications. So obviously it would behoove you to get that controlled before you go into the surgery. Right. But beyond that, and this is something that I pride myself on, is that I just don't focus on the surgery. Because obviously that's important. My first priority is to make sure you don't die, right?
Right, for sure.
Or get harmed.
Right.
So I'll cover that base. But I'm thinking about 10, 20 years down the road, whether or not you're at risk for a heart attack, stroke, even cancer. And so when I'm evaluating you, it's actually an executive physical, so to speak. And essentially I'm looking out for anything that could potentially be a problem down the road. And a lot of people are walking around with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and they're essentially taking time bombs. And so they may be good to go for the surgery, but 5 years from now, they may have a heart attack.
Right, because you're picking up red flags during their evaluation.
And so beyond the visit, I'm also evaluating those things and making recommendations for their primary care doctor to act upon.
Right. So in terms of high blood pressure, this is something I run into maybe very commonly, definitely almost every day, is patients with white coat hypertension or high blood pressure when they see medical professionals or in a clinic, they get anxious and things like that versus their normal tensive. So what's a good way to like, I don't know, like for me, like this is a sideline, consult. Like, I have a patient, she got her medical clearance, she was normal intensive, looks good, healthy, younger patient. She comes in and, she's like 160 over like 90 or something like that, very high blood pressure. What's something that I could do to either differentiate that or, what should my thought process be thinking about the blood pressure at that point? Should I stop the surgery? I'm like, no, you need to go talk to your PCP and get some medication, or, is that just like a false read because they're just white coat hypertensive or something?
Well, can I have a drink real quick?
Yeah.
All right, because I got to channel my inner soldier boy real quick.
All right.
Because, okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, okay?
All right.
But white coat have hypertension. Let me start over. White coat hypertension is hypertension.
All right, bet.
You hear me? So if your blood pressure gets high when you come to see the doctor, you're more likely to have a stroke. You're more likely to have a heart attack. You're more likely to have renal failure.
Right.
And what people don't realize is that seeing the doctor is a trigger. So you might have anxiety-mediated hypertension.
Right.
But if it ain't the white coat, there might be some asshole in traffic.
Yeah.
It might be some slow cashier at the checkout line. But things might get you a little riled up.
Right.
And over time, it does damage. So most people get riled up from time to time, but not everyone has high blood pressure.
Right.
So that is abnormal. So I have a lot of patients that come and see me and they say, like, listen, man, I'm stressed. I got to do all this stuff before my surgery, yada, yada.
Right.
I'm like, I feel you. I hear where you're coming from. But the blood pressure 180 ain't normal, shawty.
Right.
I don't call him shorty, by the way. All right. But essentially, that indicates a problem. And what we find is that although patients are coming in for cosmetic surgery, they're not necessarily plugged into the healthcare system. And so this is the first time in years that they're checking their blood pressure, their labs, and we find things.
Right.
And what I tell patients is that, yes, it may be mediated by the fact that you're anxious, but we have to prevent that from happening in the future. And I'm the type of doctor that doesn't like medication. So if it requires meditation, stress reduction, I'm all for that. But my end goal, as I said before, is to make sure that you don't get a heart attack, stroke, or die. Right. And so I'm always going to fixate on that the best way possible.
Well, with that being said, we're about to move into our next block. We got some tricky Triggs trivia for Dr. Ashby here. So we're gonna ask him a few questions. I mean, you're not gonna win no money. So I ain't got no money for you. I ain't got nothing of value for you. It's just some questions to see.
Cut.
Just to see what you know, brother. So we're about to do some tricky Triggs trivia. So the first question, Dr. Ashby, where did I go to med school?
Where did you go to med school?
Yeah, man.
All right, Mr. Cut Life.
It should be easy.
Mr. Meharry.
Oh, okay. So you know.
Of course.
All right, just making sure. All right, where did I train at?
All right. Well, it depends on what stage. I know that you trained at Tampa General.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's my dog.
So what's the school though?
USF.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
Yeah,
University of South Florida. I trained at University of South Florida. All right.
Like, I know my dog, bro.
What are some things that or red flags that you pick up on if you feel like somebody's lying during a medical clearance? This patient wants to get their BBL. Is there anything or any tattletale signs or something that clues you to be like, hold up, that they're not being completely honest with you during their consultation or their visit? Because I know you get this a lot.
Oh man, you're killing me, Triggs. You're killing me, Triggs. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Okay.
All right. So I have access to records.
Okay. All right.
And
so you tapped in.
Yes. I mean, obviously you give your consent beforehand.
Right.
But I'm able to integrate with multiple healthcare systems around the country and pull your records. And I'm able to determine if you had a history of high blood pressure, if you've been to the ER for chest pain.
Right.
9 times out of 10, I'm going to know.
Right.
So For me, it's like, yeah, you could look and say and all those other things.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist at heart, so
Right.
I look at the raw data.
Okay.
And so information for me is everything. So I'm able to pull records, and a lot of times there's some inconsistencies, but it's not necessarily that the patient's being disingenuous. It's just
Right.
that they didn't think of it.
Right.
And
I will say some people do just honestly forget. They just
Yeah.
honestly forget.
yeah, so I'm never accusatory. I'm just asking them,
Right.
hey, what about this? Because sometimes, as you know,
Yeah.
in medical records, doctors or the healthcare system put stuff in your record that has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
So-
I've seen that multiple times.
Yeah.
Like I had a patient where she was like, I've never had that, and it wound up being a completely different patient.
There you go.
You know?
So yeah, exactly. So basically, it's not necessarily I'm confronting patients, but I'm just gathering information.
Right.
I want to know as much as possible. I don't care about too much. I just want to know everything so that I can make the best decision for you.
Right. No, I feel it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're on this urban golf weekend. We're both board members. Shout out to Cliff Addison. You know what I'm saying?
But
So, we're going to test your golf knowledge. Just one question. Who is currently the number one golfer in the world right now?
Babe Ruth.
That's a baseball player. That's absolutely wrong, and he's dead already. I mean, you've been better off saying Tiger Woods, brother. Anyway, Scotty Scheffler. Anyway, because the Masters just happened or whatever. Anyway, we're gonna switch things over. We're gonna get to know Dr. Ashby a little bit on a personal style. We've learned a little bit about him, like his family, but we're saying like he's been in Miami, his entire life, outside of like his training and his schooling and whatnot. So like, I know a lot of people in Miami. Is there any like people you want to get a special shout out to that other people may know very well or think they know, any celebrities or, good people that you've politicked with in the past?
Well, first of all, shout out to my mom.
You got to shout out moms. Got to
Yo,
shout out
yo,
moms.
my mom is West Indian.
Yeah.
And the thing about West Indian moms is that they're going to brag.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring you up for no reason.
That's true.
So they'll be at Publix
Yeah.
getting oranges. And they're like, oh, yeah, my mom like, oh, yeah, my son.
Because
he a doctor."
they view being a medical doctor as very high regard.
That's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
You could be the CEO of Google. They'd be like, whatever. My son's a cardiologist.
Right. Exactly.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
There's something about the profession of medicine that they revere.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense because if you know doctors, we regular degular,
Yeah.
and some of us are dumb as a doorknob.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring up any names, Triggs, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a big deal in our community. So shout out to my mom because everybody knows her on the low, Auntie Vern, aka. But yeah, I don't like to do that, man. Like,
No, I understand.
I'm real discreet with it,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I can vouch for Dr. Ashby.
Yeah.
I've met a few very, well-known people, internationally, celebrities, artists, and things
he
like
did
that.
when he first moved here.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell that story, but Triggs had a nice intro to Miami.
Man, I just remember walking out, and the sun was clearly up, not peeking out. The sun was up.
Hey, well, hold on. Let me cut in real quick. So Triggs is my boy, and then we was hanging out with my other homies. I went home. Did Triggs go home?
I was still outside.
Triggs was still out in the streets, bro.
I was still outside.
So
I mean,
Triggs was hanging out with my friends without me.
I just know the sun was up, and them brothers was still in there getting it in. The Cullennans were still parked. You know what I'm saying? The Rolls Royces was still. This is before, I got a new car. I was still in the Camaro, but the sun was still up. Money was still flying in the air, but the sun was up, and I had to go home.
Yes.
And I was still sleeping on the air mattress because my stuff still hadn't made it yet. So I was still like on my bummy. But
you looked official though. And the thing that I love about my circle is that everybody shows love. Like once I co-sign on you or they co-sign on you, we rock like that. And like it's because we have a long-term history, and so we always remain solid.
I always feel like real people gonna introduce you to more real people.
Certified fact.
I think that's a real thing. And these are like multi-millionaires, very well-known people, and just super cool. Just super cool.
Yes.
Like just super cool people. I'm gonna ask you this because I was very offended. You know, we had the Triggified video, you know, and I talked to Ashby. I was like, bro, we throwing this video because I let Ashby listen. I had an appointment with him, like my yearly checkup. I was like, yo, man, I had this patient like write this song. You know, I was just like, okay, whatever. And she actually sent it to me. I listened to it. I was like, I think it's a bot, man. Like, listen to this. Let me know what you think, because you know, a lot of people don't know that Dr. Ashby has had a record company, and so I let him listen to it. He was like, "Yo, you got to do something with this. This is a bop. This is a theme song." So you know, a couple of months later, I think this was in March. You know, about 3 months later, I was like, "Yo, we actually doing something with it." Glory is setting up a whole video shoot. We making something happen. Glory's my social media manager. If you've been tuning in, she's here right now. Shout out to Glory. You know what I'm saying? We doing it, like, you know what I'm saying? Jeeting gonna be there. You'll find out who Jeeting is later. You gotta be there. He's like, oh, bet, I'm gonna roll up. Triggified video shoot happens, and somebody's ghost, bro. Like Casper. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hands on the pottery ghost, you know? So, you know what I'm saying? So what happened, brother? Like, you know what I'm saying? What happened? I know you have a Nico, so don't even go there.
Wow.
Yeah, I took that excuse away, bro. Yeah, we're gonna hold you accountable today.
So, you know, you think you know somebody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think you know someone.
Right.
And Triggs knows that I have acid reflux.
Oh, here we go. It's a cardiologist.
And I skipped my Nexium dose, and so I just had heartburn, so I couldn't.
This man got
next.
This man got multiple degrees, Ivy League, educated, 4 medical board certifications, and it was because he didn't take his Nexium. Bet. All right, we're gonna leave it at that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you have a thought of where Dr. Ashby was, please leave it in the comments, because I would like to have some. You
don't know what it's like to have acid reflux, bro.
Okay, all right. You know, whatever.
Judging me.
Anyway, according to Glory on my script right here, you had some questions for me.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I really do.
So first question that was co-written by Glory. Thank you for that. She wanted to know, like, when did you first join my fan club?
Right. You know what? I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck for real. So I knew you was like certified real, because you know we met during the pandemic on a group chat. Like one of my mutual friends put us all in a group chat. We were doing a lot of like social media stuff during the pandemic, and I was
RMRN gang.
Yeah, RMRN. You know, real medicine right now.
Yeah, boot gang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, boot gang. And I was looking for an attorney to look over the contract. And this is like on my journey basically to come down here to South Florida. And he put me in touch with some people, you know, my team right now. Shout out to Alex, shout out to Chuck, my team. And just conversing with him and him walking me through the process, and you know, basically just giving me the lay of the land. That's when I knew. I was like, man, this brother is solid. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was just like, you know, some people on social media, some of these doctors or whatever, like they not genuine. Like, I'm gonna just be straight up with you, they not real people. And they selfish, you know what I'm saying? This guy was literally giving me every single detail of what I need to do, how I need to move, and still does it today. He checks me when I needs to be checked. Like, you know, he checks in on me. And that's when I knew you was like, that's when I joined the Ashby fan club. Like, I mean, this guy is my personal physician. Like, this is the guy that writes my scripts. This is the guy that calls my medicines in. Like, this is my dude. So, and I trust this guy. If I trust this guy with my life, you know what I'm saying? That's when I became a personal Bernard Ashby fan club. I ain't wearing your jersey or nothing like that. Forget that. Fuck that, brother. So, but yeah, man, that's when I joined the fan club. Anyway.
Yeah, you gonna make me cry, bro.
Oh, man.
You gonna make me cry, man. I appreciate that.
Line
no, like, yeah, and the feeling's mutual. Like, I tell everybody, Triggs don't know who he is. Like, this dude met like super regular degular. I'm like, bro, I'm like, tighten up. You Triggs, bro. He's like, eh. But and I appreciate that about you. And you know, one thing about me is that like I'm all about building with people.
Right.
Like I'm not about taking or whatever. Like I'm building, and I feel like if my circle's strong, I'm strong.
All right.
And that's how we roll. And you've shown equal reciprocity, not because you felt obligated, but that's just who you are, man.
Right.
And I appreciate that. And I can't tell you enough how it's good to see you down here and see you thriving, because a lot of people get swallowed up by Miami. These Miami streets is real, bro.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
And it's funny because I've met people of, you know, the opposite sex, and they'd be like, I'm surprised you hadn't changed. I'm surprised you hadn't like got eaten up, because Miami is its own animal. And I mean, I see it. Like I've seen it, but a part of that's probably because I like travel to see my kids a lot, or I really be inside. I don't be outside as much as people really think.
Well, can I be candid for a little bit? I was worried about you, right? Because Triggs is too nice. Like me, I'm nice, but like, you know,
he's an asshole.
I got some sharp elbows sometimes, right? But Triggs, like I'll say it like this: if you got a problem with Triggs, you got a problem, because Triggs don't mess with nobody. Like he just eat his food, mind his business, and lives his life, and just gives out positive energy. And so I was worried about you that you would get eaten up, because people will be plotting down here.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised you don't got about 8 kids by now.
Oh man, I'm
keeping it a buck. But you managed not to get involved in that. But long story short is that like I'm very proud and actually not necessarily surprised, but pleasantly happy, for lack of a better word, that you've been able to thrive down here, because there is a lot down here to allow you to thrive. There's actually like a lot of good soil down here, but most people don't value that or seek that.
Right.
They end up just kind of in those orbits that, you know, thrive on negativity. And so I'm glad that you had a good village down here. It's not just me. It's about the whole gang.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Dr. Frank. We see you. You know, you were able to get connected with a nice network, and you thrived off of that. And I'm glad that you didn't make any mistakes.
I appreciate it, brother. Definitely. So was that your last question? Because I got one more for you.
Man, Grace. So, Dr. Triggs.
Yep.
Why did you decide to move to Miami?
Oh man, that's crazy. And it's funny because we're gonna really like deep dive into that in the next episode. But I never saw myself living in Miami ever. Like I've been down here for like bachelor parties and like guys trips or whatever, and it just was not my speed. But I also didn't really stay in the city. I was on South Beach, so I was like, this ain't me. And like I went on an interview down here and really got sold on like what I could potentially do out here. And really, it was just seeing that, like being down here and see what I could actually do, and not being like thinking about the South Beach culture of it, but like, you know, I was staying in Brickell. I went to a conference or whatever, and I was like, man, I could do numbers down here.
Yes.
And so I know it doesn't really like answer the question like in depthly, but you know, I just felt like that I could like really like make a name for myself out here.
You could thrive, and that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of upside with Miami. Yeah. There's a lot of downside.
Yeah, for sure.
But you definitely are thriving now in Miami, and I'm happy to see it.
I'm trying to make some noise out here.
And last question. I know it wasn't my last question before, but I'm going to give you 2 options.
Bet.
What you love most about Miami? The food or the weather?
I'm going to say the weather.
He just disrespected the Jamaicans, the Cubans.
No, man. No, I still eat the food,
Dominicans.
The thing is, like living downtown, some of it is it's not as bad as South Beach, but some of it's like super commercialized food. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. I don't really run into a lot of the mom and pop stuff unless I'm with somebody that's from Miami. And be like, oh, we got to go to here and check this out. And when I do go, I love it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, living downtown, you know,
You know, you made me think of something. I've been a bad friend, I'm not going to lie. Because I used to live in Brickell, but I got a little son.
Yeah.
Nico Ashby.
Yeah, shout out to Nico.
Love of my life. I moved out to the burbs.
Yeah. So
I'm out the way a little bit. So I need to invite you over to my mom's house.
Oh, man. I ain't gonna
have some grub.
Hey, I ain't gonna leave, boy. I'll let to eat.
And then I'm gonna ask you that question again.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna go from there. So my last question.
Yeah.
So, you know, me and Bernard are in multiple group chats together, you know what I'm saying? Big doctor circle. And you know, we go through a lot of the same things, being like high profile people. You know, I'm not trying to like, you know, boast or brag, but it is what it is. with this whole social media thing, you've had like multiple women hit you up on like basically being scammed or being duped or catfish, with people using your likeness, man. How do you feel about that? Like, can you expand on that? Tell you some of the stories that you've been through. Hopefully, it'll stop. Maybe get your name out there. Like, yo, you're not Bernard. I know this guy.
So first of all, if I'm asking you for money, it ain't me. Okay.
Facts.
All right? It ain't me. So if you're seeing this, and I hit you up and I say, hey, listen, I'm in Yemen. I need some bread from you. It ain't me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not in Yemen.
I'm not in Yemen.
Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
Or medical mission trip.
No.
You ain't stuck or stranded.
No, I'm not stuck or stranded. I'm not.
You're not in the military.
No.
Okay.
No. But to answer your question, man, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Really it is, because what I've been running into is that a lot of women message me on social media. They email me. They call my office, because they're getting scammed by some individual or some ring that's using my name, my likeness, and what's most despicable is that they're using my son.
Yeah.
And they're essentially catfishing these women and manipulating them into not just sending them money, but actually falling in love with them.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything more reprehensible.
Right.
Because it's one thing to lose your money, but people are working, they're stressed, and they're looking for different outlets. And when you find somebody that you could potentially settle down with, it's something to look forward to. It's actually like the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And to find out that that's totally a lie actually plummets a lot of women into depression, and I'm worried about that. So I think it's a real issue, and I do empathize, but to protect my own sanity and my own circle of positivity, I cannot entertain it.
Right.
And I made a post about it. I told women, if you were involved in this in any way, if you were scammed, to contact the authorities.
Right.
And basically, please, this is a tangent. Do not come to my office. Do not call my office, please. My poor staff. So my staff has to deal with this.
Right.
I've had women show up to my job before, and it's really exhausting and stressful.
Right.
But I like to say I got good problems.
Yeah.
I mean,
first world problems.
It could be a lot worse. But it definitely gets exhausting getting the constant messages, emails, contacts, and people showing up to my job.
Right. I know it. Because nobody would want their mom or their sister, definitely your sister, go through this whole situation. Thousands of dollars people work hard for.
Yep,
You know
their
what I'm
money,
saying?
their heart,
Yep.
their hope. So it's really destructive what whoever this ring or individual is doing to these women. I think is highly reprehensible, and I hope they catch them.
Right. Well, with all that being said, we're going to switch gears because, we're at the end of our episode. You know what I'm saying? I guess we might do a little something after this, you know what I'm saying? We won't have no patients tomorrow, so might as well, see what Miami takes us tonight. But anyway, I'm Dr. Wilton Triggs. This is Dr. Bernard Ashby, Quadruple board certified cardiologist, and I want to thank you for being a part of Triggs Table Talks. I'm sorry, the Henny's starting to kick in. Triggs Table Talks. Thank you for being here, brother. I know you got a super busy schedule, as y'all have seen, but man, taking the time to kick it with your boy for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, if people want to reach you, for your services, you got any, can you drop the either location or website or however you want to do it?
Yo, shout out to cvcmed.ai or cvcmedicine.com. You could check us out online or just check out CVC Medicine on all the social media handles. If you have a family member, if you're concerned about heart attack, stroke, or just you want them to get quality care, holla at me. And my personal social handle is bashbmd on Instagram, Twitter, and you're
going to see a lot of revolutionary stuff there outside of medicine on the personal handle. And remember, this is my personal physician. So, He Triggs approved all the way. Like
Power to the people.
Like this is the man that's like keeping me ticking to be able to take care of my family and take care of my friends. So until next time, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Like, click, subscribe, share. We're trying to build this thing, this platform. And if you have any questions or comments, please like drop them in the comments or contact us. But welcome to Triggs Table Talk. And until next time, thank you guys. I appreciate you.